we would start the conversation immediately and hope that people would join us. We've got with us Dr. Morenike Molehin, and I would just try and pick a few things from her. You're welcome to Triad Webinar Series, Dr. Molehin. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you. I would try and share a few things from Dr. Molehin's profile, a very rich profile. It's interesting. She is a graduate of mathematics. I mean, some of us, industrial mathematics for that matter, I don't know what I would have done, from Covenant University. She also holds a master's degree in financial mathematics and computation from the University of Leicester in the United Kingdom. She also has an honorary doctorate degree in leadership and humanity, which was conferred upon her by the Miles Leadership University at a ceremony held in the UK. She's a well sought after speaker, so we're very privileged to have her. She's a mentor, she's a mother, she's a wife. She's been married for 14 good years. She is the founder and the CEO of Oak and Teak Interiors, which is an award-winning interior company, by the way. And she also has another organization called Oakland Cleaning Services, both of which are industry leaders in their various sectors of the industry. She has been able to successfully internationalize her business. She has expanded the footprint beyond Nigeria to serve in countries like Dubai, Rwanda, Ghana, and more recently in the United States. The Oak and Teak Interiors is actually an award-winning organization, and this is an attestation to her prowess and execution capabilities. We would want to find out whether her background in mathematics has anything to do with this precision in delivery. She's also someone who's given to a lot of mentorship and giving back. She has an initiative called Grow with Reni mentorship program, which has over 18,000 people in that community. She also has an annual conference that is Grow with Reni Live Experience. She's also someone that has set up foundations to impact on both the education and the healthcare sectors, having done a lot of work in that sector with trying to upscale and upgrade some of our standards in these two sectors through a lot of giving back, which we would also have conversations around that. Like I said, Dr. Molehin has been awarded at different platforms. She's one of Africa's 100 most impactful women founders. She's also her company has also been identified as the top 15 Nigerian interior designers redefining the industry. She's one of the top most inspiring women in Nigeria in 2023 by Leading Ladies Africa. She's also a top 100 career women in Africa by Gabi Magazine. She is 2024 Female Entrepreneur of the Year by the Global Entrepreneurs Award. She's also 2023 Eloy Entrepreneurship of the Year. Entrepreneur of the Year, rather. And it is with this that I welcome you on board, Dr. Molehin. It's such a pleasure to glad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I'm really humbled and honored to be here. Thank you so much. And well done on everything that you're doing. This is such a laudable project. And anytime that there is impact work to be done, especially with humanity, like I'm always very happy and excited to be on board. So well done, because you could be using your resources, your time, your energy to be doing other things, but you've decided to build a legacy from doing this. So I must say well done, and may you continue to have the strength to do this. And I pray that the testimonies will come, right? It's one thing for you to do this, and then another thing for you to see results. And I'm praying that you see immediate results, you see long-lasting impactful results in the name of Jesus. And it will ripple, it will, have like ripple effects.
Amen.
So yeah, so well done, ma'am. Yeah. And thanks for
Thank you
having me.
so much. Oh, wow. I didn't realize I was going to get that delivery so fast and so quick. And by the way, for everyone on board, Dr. Molehin is actually not in the country, and she actually has a program that's taking place in about an hour from now. So she's not going to be with us for that long. So if you do have a question, please feel free to drop it quickly in the chat box so that we can weave it into the conversation as we move along. So quickly to the point. You did your first degree in industrial mathematics, moved on to financial mathematics. I mean, in my mind, I'm like, my eyes were actually doing a double take. And then you then dovetailed into business. Do you want to tell us what informed that kind of pivot? Why did you make that decision, and why the interior decorating sector?
Okay, so like every time that I'm asked this question, I always like to start off with the fact that I would say entrepreneurship chose me. I did not choose entrepreneurship. Yes, because growing up, I wanted to be a career lady. I think I just love the whole idea of like dressing up in corporate wears, high heels. I don't know whether it was the series that I used to watch back then, or like, I'm just like, oh my God, like for me, that was an epitome of success. That was definition of success for me. So I did not even think about entrepreneurship at all, even though I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My great grandfather was the first president of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. He's built industries, he's built lots of he was one of the first tire manufacturers in fact, the first tire manufacturer in Nigeria, competing head to head with Dunlop. So and then my grandfather as well had an entrepreneurial spirit. My dad as well, doing his own thing as well. So, but for me, I just thought, I'm female, let me just do something simple. So, what then happened was, I think it was mainly, say, disappointments, basically. So I had come back from my master's. I was working in a consulting firm, and then the consulting firm at some point decided to relocate to the north, right? Because most of the project that they were doing was from the north. So it didn't make sense for them to be running the Lagos office. And then at this point, I think I was about 6-7 months pregnant, and it was you either go to the north, and this was during the thick of Boko Haram. This was 2011, 2012, no, 2012-ish. So we're talking about like over 13 years ago. So it was a no-brainer, obviously. I couldn't relocate, to some northern states in Nigeria just because of a job. And my husband wasn't going to allow me to do that anyways. So I decided to resign. I resigned, and then I was home. But then something struck me, and I said, if this has happened, then it means that it might happen again. And this was just my thinking at the time. I mean, like, people outgrow things, because now in hindsight, I'm like, maybe that wasn't really a good thinking. But for me, it's worked out for good, because I could have still gotten another job, and that didn't have to happen again, right? There are people that are excelling, they're doing fantastic in their corporate jobs. So it's not everybody that gets laid off or fired, or you have to resign, right? So for me at the time, I was just thinking, I mean, I think I was like 22, 23. So I was thinking, okay, if I've found myself in this position, then I don't want to ever find myself again in this position. So when I had my baby, I applied for a job, but as I was applying for a job, I was like, I'm going to be having plan B, right? So my own plan B was now entrepreneurship, right? And it just came because I just got married at the time, did up our space. People would always come, give compliments here and there. And it was my husband that then noticed that people, every time people come to this house, they always drop a compliment. Don't you think that? And it didn't even cross my mind. It didn't occur to me. And that's why sometimes people that you have around you, very, very important. Like sometimes there are things that are staring right in your face. You are not aware of it because it comes natural to you. So because it comes natural to you, you take it for granted, and you're like, is it not just to bake cake? is it not just to sew clothes? But not everybody can bake cake. Not everybody can sew clothes. Not everybody can do certain things that come natural to you. And that's the reason why we are all different, right? So there's certain things that we do that because we do those things, we are offering value. And once you're able to offer value, you receive value in terms of, you know, monetary value in return. So for me, that was how I ventured into entrepreneurship and design. And so I said, okay, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? Let me do this for about 6 months to 1 year max. If I see that I'll put on, and the thing about me is that once I decide to do something, I put my all in it. Like there's no, oh, let me just
No
test this. I put
commissions.
my all because I'm like, okay, let me just put my all. I have time to experiment other things. So let me put my 100%. If it doesn't work, I move to the next thing. That was again, like I said, this was like 12, 13 years ago. I've unlearned certain things, but that was what helped me then. But this also comes from my background in mathematics. So, as you read my profile, you see that I have to do 2 degrees in mathematics. It's not like I love mathematics like that too. My mathematics as well come from a place of failure, right? So I had failed mathematics woefully. As the first child, I went to 3 secondary schools. So the third secondary school, I was now moving to my senior secondary school. That's like SS1 or year 9, right? In this day and age. So I failed math woefully, like not D7 or C6 type of like F9 in further maths and mathematics. So that was like SS1 first term. And then, got home. Obviously, my parents were not impressed. My father flogged me. After flogging me, I cried, but he sat me down and said, I know you. When you put your mind to something, like you would excel at it. So why don't you just try this math? Like you would do very well. And I said, okay, no problem. So I changed strategy. I started, getting involved with people that were excelling in math. They would say, okay, we're coming to school during the weekend. I'm like, okay, me too, I'll come, no problem. Like, how they say now, follow who know road. So everything that they did, I would do if I had questions. And me, I'm kind of person that I don't like no shame. Like if I don't know something, I'll ask you. You cannot shame the shameless. So anyway, long and short of the story is that by the next term, I had A1 in both math and mathematics. So A1 in both maths and further mathematics rather. And so
Wow.
that particular, I always say that has been a defining moment of my life. Like anytime anybody asks me that what's the defining moment of your life, also that period was it, because it made me understand that anytime you put your mind to something, not just putting your mind to it, committing to it, putting in all the work and effort that is required to do that thing, it might take a while, but once you're consistent at it, you're determined. I mean, like I decided this year that I wanted to lose how many kg, and I'm like, I've already lost the weight. And it's not as if, maybe I just decided one morning, I say, oh, I want to, because it's very easy for you to say, oh, I want to do this. But then when it now comes to doing the work, that's where
Egyptian.
many people, fall by the wayside. So when I'm going to the gym early in the morning before the sun
Big
comes
bricks.
out, before day breaks, like I go do whatever I have to do my 2 hours, come back, eating clean. It's not easy. Like ice cream is very yummy. Cake is yummy. There are many, many things that are yummy, but you just have to restrict yourself and say, nope, I have a goal, I have a target. So it's very hard sometimes, like when you have to be disciplined. Discipline is hard. I won't lie. But I always say that once you put in the work, it's like you give whatever you give, you get out of it, right? So when you give in um
Mm,
so much
mm,
work, you get like results, and results don't care about emotions. If you like say, I don't feel like doing this morning, okay, no wahala. The day you decide that, okay, no, I feel like doing this. So as long as you just put in the work, basically, you get
mm.
results. So that's how, my entrepreneurship journey, design, mathematics, all of those things has come in play to the story that I have today. And so when I decided to do my interior design business, for like 6 months to 1 year, let's see, whether I want to continue or not. But to God's glory, we celebrated 12 years like 2 months ago. So I guess we are still I'm still here, and I'm going nowhere. By God's grace.
Absolutely. I love that.
Mm,
And you're
mm,
going nowhere.
mm,
But honestly, I was saying to myself that the journey seems rather short, but the impact is quite daunting for those who
mm,
are looking at you, which is in this number one, you got into a space interior decors. People think that okay, it's people take it easy. But you've shot to the top. You've not just done that, you've internationalized. What informed that you're moving out of the shop? I mean, people wait for decades before they start saying, okay, let's try Ghana, let's try. But right from the get-go, it seemed like you had your eye on the global space. Is that true? Or is that also happenstance?
mm. Okay, so I would say that it's a combination of both.
Okay.
So for Ghana, when you mention Ghana, when you mention Rwanda, when you mention Dubai,
Mm,
United Kingdom, these are projects that we have done, but we did them, from our Nigerian office, right?
mm,
And
okay.
so, for example, our Rwanda projects, we had a client that we had already served in Nigeria. He was overly impressed, and then his office was, relocating him to Rwanda to go and head one of the it was a bank, one of the branches in, or like heading the entire Rwanda region. So they gave him a house, and then they were going to give him an interior designer, but he refused and said, "No, I have my own interior designer from Nigeria that I trust, that I prefer." And so that was how we were able to, go work with him in Rwanda. And same story as well with Ghana. I mean, like Ghana is different, the United Kingdom as well different, but it was from our company in Nigeria. But then we decided I wanted to open markets in America. But so that one was now intentional and very strategic, right?
Mm,
And it came from a place of, okay, we want to diversify, right? We want to diversify our income. And, people have been, especially after COVID, we're talking about diversification of income, pivoting, this one, that one. So, and then, but most importantly, I began to realize that most people were relocating. So they were relocating to the United Kingdom, United States, Canada. So we
mm,
wanted to be in that region. And
mm,
we knew, we're never going to deceive ourselves. We knew that, okay, maybe the first few years, we might not have international clients. What I mean by international clients, like maybe, white
yes.
clients, or yeah, so it was going to be our entry point will be still the same
The
Nigerians that have
diaspora.
relocated in the diaspora, and then from there we can now begin to tap into like their own network, and then just fly from there. So that was what inspired the move to America. And there's something that we do. We normally have like a 3-year strategic plan. So instead of saying, oh, so we have our vision, have our mission at Okantik, but to be very intentional, every year, we always do our strategic planning. Obviously, the person that I'm married to. So if we don't do strategy, will you not be afraid? You'll be afraid. So we always sit down and say, okay, what's our strategic vision for the next 3 years?
Mm,
So we before it was, oh, we want to be the top interior design company in Lagos, then later it became we want to be the leading interior design company in Nigeria, and then leading interior design company in Africa. So for us to be able to, so there's a matrix that we then look at and say, okay, for us to be considered that, what are some of the things that has to be put in place? So if, for example, an award body or some body comes and say, okay, we're trying to rate these companies, what are the things that they'll be looking out for? And so we already put that into consideration. So it's very, very key. So even up until like staff benefits, remuneration, we want to be top of mind. We want to be the company where, you have there's this award that Jobberman normally gives, like best place to work. So if it's best place to work, what are some of the criteria that we should be doing? So even though we haven't gotten those we haven't gotten those things here where they say, oh, Okantik is the best place to work in 2024, but there are things that we have already started putting in place so that when that time comes for the recognition, we've already done our work. So yeah, so that's what informed our decision to sort of like
so
scale.
international. Nice.
to
So
go
I
into the
hear
international markets.
So I hear a lot about intentionality. I hear a lot
Mhm.
about putting in the hard work. I also hear a lot about having been visionary in what you're doing. But
Mhm.
obviously, Oak and Take is not just you. There are people that
Mhm.
work with you, and some of them are locator people. How do you ensure that this same vision, this same intentionality, this same hard work, it's something that permeates or pervades the entire team? How do you make sure that your people can deliver to your standards?
I think that at the end of the day, once you have your own standards and you're able to communicate it clearly to people that are your stakeholders and letting them understand what you require of them and how their inputs would impact generally on the company and how that in turn would favor them as well. I guess that it makes the work easier. So we have different sort of people that we work with. So there's the artisans, right? So like your carpenters, your painters, and if you've ever worked with any artisan before, you know that they can be a pain, not only in your butt, your pain in your head, pain in, like you literally can be sleeping and you're dreaming about them. And they sort of like invoke some level of anger in you that you never thought existed, right? Even while trying to maintain your heavenly race, they just always want to find a way to derail you. But God's grace will keep just bringing us back. So, you know, and then you're not having a one-time person, you're just working with these people and you're already going crazy. Now imagine we are working with them every single day, 24/7, Monday to Sunday. It's not easy. So I remember the very early years of my business, I used to be extremely frustrated. Like, why are these people not just getting it? And some people are already set in their ways. So it's like, this is how I do this thing. You, this young girl, because there's some artisans that they were old enough to be my father. They've been doing this business. They've been doing carpentry work for like 30 years. So I can't even, and now it was I can't even come and tell them, oh, this is the way we want to do. But and that's where emotional intelligence comes, and then also playing to understanding your terrain. If I was in the Western world, there's some people, maybe someone that is like 50 years old or 60 years old and I was 22, I could just call him, hey John, do this for me, do that for me. This one, daddy, Mr. So, just sir, please, can you help me? He's not active, no, I want him to trample on me. But no matter how much we try to sugarcoat things, like our culture will still always be our culture. So yes, I'm the one giving him money. It's almost like I'm the one bringing food to his table. But if he decides that he wants to frustrate me, he will frustrate me, right?
Mm.
And and I can shout and shout and shout.
Doesn't change anything.
That's exactly. But by the time you treat people with kindness, there are certain skills that you have, even if you are the Lord and Master, right? There are certain things that you still need to be emotionally intelligent. There are still certain things that you need to do that they will not teach you maybe in business school. It's just that
Mm.
those traits, those values that you have as a human being that would
Mm.
then translate, and those little things I mean, like in our organization, for example, we have what we call organizational justice, right? It's a thing where if people are working hard, another person is not pulling in their weight, you want to quickly address it, because what then happens is that it seems like if you don't address it, people that are putting all the extra efforts, it just seems like, why am I
Mm.
disturbing myself? This person is just doing like 4/10. Me, I'm
Mm.
doing 9/10. Not my father's company. They too, they will relax. But when the
Absolutely.
person saying doing 8/10 is seeing that they are being rewarded, and then also seeing that the person doing 4/10, they are calling the person to. In fact, you would also be involved in, oh, what do you think about this person's performance? And then the
Mm.
person gives their opinion, and they're, oh, okay. So it seems like everybody sort of like is in um is united about it. And so there's that. So having to work with these people, and then you have, my colleagues as well who are learned, they went to school. There's a different way of, relating with them. And then you have the clients, there are ways where they just have like different approaches in, relating with the
Different
different
segments
people.
of
Yeah,
people.
different. So what I found out is that I'll just focus only on the artisans now, because for the others it seems it's easier. So for the artisans, we always do trainings, and then we meet twice in a year where we are reminding them about our values, what we would expect or would not expect from them. And then I think that it was liberating when I found out that actually if an artisan is messing up, I can actually fire them. And so what had happened is that we made sure that we never had just one person that could do one thing. And that's also the same thing with the roles in the organization. So project manager, you cannot have in my company, you cannot have one person, you cannot have a role that another person cannot do. It's very, very intentional, right? So that way you're not left stranded. Okay, somebody wants to go on leave, fantastic. The company will not close down because somebody has gone on leave. Or now I'm not in the country, is the company is running smoothly. I don't even need to put any, have any inputs. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. Same thing with artisans as well. So if before you just used to have maybe like one carpenter, one painter. Now we have multiple. So if you are messing up, and then we have we've graded them. So this person is in grade A. So when we have certain types of projects, right? Maybe we have a project or say maybe 10 million naira. This person, because of their performance, because of what they have, how they have been able, they've conducted themselves over the years, they know that when we have such big projects, they are the ones that will get it. So if we have a project of maybe like say 1 million, there are artisans that we know that okay, these are the ones. So when you're in grade C, you want to move to grade A, and it means that so you're basically making people fight for
the position and
yes, exactly. And then also at the end of the year we always grade our artisans as well. Okay, top 3, we celebrate them, we give them presents at our Christmas party. So these are some of the things that has actually even helped us to we found other creative ways as well to ensure that we have quality people that understand our vision. And like I said, it was liberating when I realized that if you're not doing well,
we can actually let you go.
yeah, we can actually let you go. Like we don't have to stick with you, right? If you're not doing well, we give you benefit of that 1, 2, 3. So we do like suspension, we suspend you for 3 months. If you come back and you are misbehaving again, we suspend you for 6 months. If you're misbehaving, we suspend you for 1 year. After that 1 year like that, it's final. Like you can, no matter what, you can never come back again. So just as some of the things, and it's actually worked for us up until this time.
Obviously, for you to have done the feat that you've done in the industry, so at the end of the day, people should ensure organizational justice, make sure that you have a performance reward system in place.
Yes.
Also be contextual about how you're dealing with your people. So at the end of the day, the kind of framework you would use for a top tier team member is different from when you have blue-collared workers and things like that. Before I go on, I also want to be able to talk to you a bit about your impact. But before I go on, I've got this question I want to quickly read out. It says, "Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. I'm interested in your bridge between ideation and execution. Action seems to come naturally to you, but I find your story about Mark highly impactful. So do you have any tips on confronting things which are necessary but highly challenging, whether it's about mindset or organizing work?" That is one. Maybe I should let you answer that first.
Maybe I can quickly answer that one.
Yes, please.
So, there's something that my mentor says, Mrs. Ibuka Wachika. She says, "To thyself be true." And you can interpret that in many ways. For me, there was a time where I did an exercise and I tried to understand the kind of person that I am. So that way, I'm able to play more to my strengths and sort of like outsource my weaknesses. So I've realized that I'm a starter, but not necessarily a finisher, right? So I'm if you say, let's do this thing now, like I'm your go-to person, we can start tomorrow. But then by the time we're getting to the middle parts, I'm already getting bored. I'm already getting restless. I want to start a new thing. So because I know that about myself, and there's no point really, struggling and saying, no, I must finish it with all my power, with all my strength. I can't decide to finish it, but I mean, I will struggle and I don't want to struggle. Like, there are many other things that can be using my power and my strength for. So what I do is that I collaborate with people that are finishers who are not necessarily starters. So those ones, they don't really have the, I will not say the courage, but like they really need people to push them to start. So if I'm starting it for them, I'm starting it. So for example, Grow with Rennie, the mentorship program that I run, and I was going to start it. Like, it took me a few months, maybe 3-4 months, to finally say, okay, let me do it. And it's not because I was afraid of starting or fear of the unknown, or, oh, I've not perfected this. The thing about me is I don't always start something perfect. I've never done anything that I started that it was perfect before I started. As long as it's good to go, it's good enough, we'll be perfecting it on the journey. Because I've listened to so many, and that's again very important for you to listen to success stories, listening to people that have gone ahead. Every time I'm listening to all these successful people, they're always saying, oh, they never started something, nothing was perfect before they started. So I said, okay, why am I now killing myself to perfect something? Let me start, right? Until now, even till now, I don't even think my company is perfect. We're not perfect. We cannot be perfect, right? So, but I'm very proud of, the journey so far, right? And I'm grateful that we started when we're supposed to start. I always say this, and I was even still advising somebody today, saying that, because she's been saying, oh, she had a project, she's been trying to start for almost like 2-3 years, she hasn't started. And I'm like, see, look, there are certain projects that we get now, and we get them because of the number of years that we have stayed in business, the capacity that we have. There's some projects that we bid for. They will tell you, oh, you must have been in business a minimum of 10 years. So imagine if 12 years ago, I was sitting down and say, I'm not ready to start. I'm not yet perfect. Oh no, I'm scared. I'm afraid. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And now you decided 6 years ago to start. It means that 6 years ago, if I started, I would just be in year 6 now. The project that I'm doing now, that they are saying minimum of 10 years, I will not be qualified for it. So even if it's for that reason alone, please start. Because you are delaying some future contracts, some future projects, just because you are not starting now.
That's what you should start at the time you should have started.
Yes, exactly. So I try to quickly close the question. People quickly remind me, the question is, finishers. So for Grow Rennie, so it was the same thing as well. So it wasn't because I was afraid that I could not start, but I knew that once I started, it will get to a point where I will hook and I might be bored. And then for the lives that are waiting on mentorship, I will not start disappointing. So immediately I created a structure around it. Immediately before I started, well, not like it was perfect or anything. I called, there's somebody that I know that, okay, this person, our programs director, she like this one woman wonder. Like she's behind the scenes. Nobody, you will not, it's me that maybe at the conference I would usually announce her and everything. But she's behind the scene. She doesn't even live in the same state as I am. So once I'm starting a project like that, babe, this is it. Then she does like all the admin, the operations, the running around, doing all those daily work that I know that I might not be I will be busy. I won't be able to do by myself, like doing everything. And I think that's also what has helped me in business as well. Always like relying on structures. Honestly, relying on structures. I can't rely on myself to be able to do everything. And so it's so important that whatever I see that we're doing, even in our own, even if it's just us, building a structure around our lives is so important. Like if companies think that they are that important to put structure around their lives, then you as an individual, as a human being, they're even way more precious, more valuable for you not to put structure in your own life as well.
So really and truly, please, I have somebody's hand up. Is this in relation to the question we just answered? Dr. Sam, please go ahead. Okay, whilst we're waiting, there's another question. It says, also, from home design to fashion, design is a flourishing but highly competitive space in Nigeria. What do you think is necessary to stand out and maintain a competitive edge?
To
So
be honest, now I know that
lead.
I didn't hear you.
I said, in other words, how have you been able to break through and lead in a highly competitive organization, industry like designs?
Yeah, I won't even lie. Interior design right now is the entry barrier is really low. I mean, like I started with barely nothing. It's not like bank where they tell you that you must have 5 billion in deposits. No, not everybody can wake up in the morning and say they want to open a bank. But for
Yes.
interior design, it's not like that. So obviously, if the entry barrier is low, you have so many people. What I always say is that the way many people rush in is also the same way. Like after like 1 or 2 years, people
Would
um
exit as well.
exit because it's not as easy as it seems like. Because when you're looking at the beautiful pictures of transformation of living rooms, bedrooms, offices, the behind the scene itself for you to get there, in fact, it takes serious work, mental work, physical work. And then like I always say, doing business in Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted.
Absolutely.
So I would say that for me, when I was starting out, it wasn't even the market wasn't even as crowded as it is now. I mean, we're talking 12 years ago, but at the time, I even felt like it was crowded, right? So, my husband and I looked at it and said, we must have a different strategy. So, what is our own entry strategy? So, at the time, I looked at it and I was like, okay, people are not really doing baby nurseries, like they're not really niching in baby nurseries. That's baby rooms and all of that. So we decided to, but that was not going to be our own sole thing
Offering.
that wanted to do or offering. We just wanted to use that to enter, because by the time you do baby's room and you do it very well, the mother father can say, can you do master bedroom too? Can you help us to do living room? And that's how we took off actually. So for us, that was our own entry. So you can look at it and say, okay, what is it that people are not really doing right now, but will still lead me to where I want to go to, right? It's just like you trying to get into a house, like once you just enter into one door, you're literally almost in the entire house already. So you're just looking for that door that will open, and you're the one that will have to do that research by yourself and find out, okay, is sustainable design, a thing now? And I realized also that um they think that Nigeria literally will eventually catch up with the Western world. So maybe you want to go and look at what the Western world they are doing now and say, okay, let me begin to plan towards that, because eventually, maybe in the next 5 years, Nigeria will catch up to that. And that can be a strategy for you. So that by the time Nigeria catches up, it seems like you are a first mover, like you have like first mover advantage. So I mean, like, they're different things, right? But you're the one that will eventually, like, I've shared my own example, and I hope that that can help.
That's helpful. Obviously, you've said a lot about how a person starting business, whether it's very competitive or not very competitive, you need to do a bit of research. You need to be able to identify where to play and how to play. And of course, find an entry. They say there's no point going there and going to go and do the big muscles. I'm sure that would say if he had started trying to do a refinery, he may never have taken off. But here we are today, we have the largest refinery across the globe. I think that's essentially what you're trying to say. There is it's a comment, but I think it's a beautiful comment, so I'm going to read it out to you.
Thank you.
And I would go on to but before I read that comment, can you relate this conversation you just had about strategy and how you enter into the marketplace with how did you decide to diversify into Oakland? Because obviously you were in designs and then you pivoted and decided to diversify into cleaning and all that. Why did you do that, and how has that fared? Then I would now read what someone has just written about you.
Okay, so that's very easy, very, very simple. So every time, I mean, we've done like over 700 projects, within the last 12 years. And I would say that 98% in fact, 99% of the time, when we charge clients for cleaning, because we have to do like pre-construction cleaning, post-construction cleaning, because there's no way we're going to renovate or we're going to do your interior without cleaning. Cleaning must be involved. And 99% of the time, when we charge clients for cleaning, they say we can handle that bit. But then we now outsource the cleaning parts to other companies. And so one day I was like, why are we outsourcing this thing when we are the ones that get the cleaning, and I know how much we can make because the cleaning company is definitely making a kill from us. So we can actually even do this in-house. And so we did the math and realized that, okay, I mean, like, we would definitely also be making money from this as well. And we can also now be providing the service in isolation to authentic interior. So I know that my interior design business is a capital intensive type of project. For you to say you want to do interior, it's a lot of money, right? Well, even if it's just you want to renovate your kitchen or you want to you renovate your bedroom, you're talking about millions. But somebody doesn't necessarily have to do interior for them to call us to come and clean their house. And it's just the same way you have dry cleaning services. You would always need cleaning, or you always clean your house. Even if you have like help, there's some times where you just want to do like deep cleaning, you want to do fumigation. Maybe during Christmas party when you have lots of guests, you want to do proper cleaning, or you traveled, your house is dirty. There'll always be reason for cleaning. And with 200K, 300K, call those 50K, 100K, depending on this on the brief. So we just decided, okay, this is another opportunity for us to make money, and that was how. But it was in doing the interior design business that we're able to identify
the opportunity.
Yes.
Okay, so before I go into my next, because we now need to round off because we have barely 10 minutes left with you. But someone has written here that your work is truly exceptional. The character you collaborate with it is undeniably impactful, and it's no surprise that your efforts will resonate globally. Your dedication and talent are sure to leave a lasting impression worldwide. Congratulations on your
Thank you so much.
Outstanding work.
Thank you
I
so
think
much.
that's been written about you, and it's very easily discernible. And that brings me to your impact. You've decided to also string impact along. So this is not just about profits. You are mentoring, you are having annual conferences. You said to us that one of the reasons that you jumped on top of this, amongst others, is the fact that this is impact, and you find it very compelling to be a part of anything that's bringing impact. So here we are. You are also doing projects for hospitals and schools. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why did you decide to do that? And how can businesses weave CSI or CSR into their business strategy?
Okay. So I think that for me, for the impact work in terms of like the foundation, renovating hospitals, schools, there were times when I would go to Orile markets. I don't know if you know Orile markets. Orile markets, we go buy like tiles, buy like some of the materials that we use for our renovations. And I was passing through a public school one day in traffic, and I saw that there were no windows. I could literally see almost inside the classrooms. They were looking like dull, and this were for children. And I'm like, children are supposed to be learning in visually stimulating environments. It needs to be conducive. Like, why would there not be windows? Like, children are very adventurous, they can just jump out. So like, why? So I was asking myself that, but I just left it. So I realized that every time that I pass through that school, I always get upset. And so I said, okay, I'm getting upset. Let me just do something about it so that I can sleep very well at night. And so that's how I said, okay, no, that was really what inspired the Authentic Foundation, where I said, okay, I wanted to even do, partner with governments to do these projects. But, I don't know if anybody's working here in government, but you know how it is. When you now want to say, you want to go and do something in government, that's why they will now say, go and bring this certificate, go and bring this one, go and bring that one. They almost frustrates your effort. So I said, okay, is either we do government related projects, or we do low income schools and hospitals. So low income schools that maybe they are barely making any profits. The children are, I don't know whether they call them jealousy or so, like they just come there, they just learn, but you can already tell the kind of environment that will be similar to the public school. So those ones are easier because when we go and meet the proprietor, they're always very excited that, oh yes, we have our library is not functioning at all. We don't. In fact, I've been to libraries where there are no books inside. There is no there are no laptops, or maybe you just see one old, you know, back then when we used to use them, all these computers, back. And like people are not using this thing anymore. So we decided to then go into renovating schools in that regard. And then for hospitals as well, I also got drawn to renovating pediatric wards, maternity wards as well. And it's so interesting that even like 2 hours ago, I was still having this discussion that we need to even do more of these projects in the coming year as well, because it's something that is really true to my heart. Because I feel like once you're learning in an environment that is beautiful, that is conducive, you get better results. For the hospitals as well. I can't imagine a mother, who has taken their children to the hospital, and the environment is just very poor. Some people, I feel like if you enter some hospitals, you even live worse than you entered, right? So for us, it's just our own little contribution of saying we just want to make this world a better place through our creativity, through the work that we do with interior design.
So when businesses, in your case, it was something that got you angry, that drew your attention, and you decided to do something about it, and you did it on the platform of business. It's a known thing that companies should do this and that there are benefits. Have there been anything that you would consider that this also did to Oak and Take or Oakland from doing this kind of giving back? I'm
I
not
mean,
saying we should
definitely,
get something out, but for
yeah,
businesses so that they know. Yeah.
definitely, right. With the way this world is governed, there's no way that you give that you will not receive. It might
Hmm.
not be in the way that you think about it or the way that you envision it, but once you give, you would always receive.
Yes, well.
I read that about this when they say, "Oh, Bill Gates is giving 90% of his wealth to Africa to eradicate malaria." So, like, I don't think that he truly 100% loves Africa or loves to just give out his money like that. But they have seen over time that there's just something that they cannot really explain it. Even though, yes, as a child of God, as a believer, I can explain it, I understand it. I know that once you give, you know, you will receive even in multiple folds. It's always just a way that it plays out. And I have seen it firsthand happen to me. It has happened to my business as well. So I mean, it's just a no-brainer, right? That yes, could just continue to give. And the Bible talks about like when you give to the poor,
Hmm.
you loan to the Lord. It
Hmm.
doesn't say that if you give to the poor, you give back to the Lord. It says that you loan to the Lord. So it means that as you loan, when you go to the bank, if you go and collect loan, when you are
Hmm.
returning the money back, you can never return. If you collected 5 naira, you can never give them back 5 naira. You have to put interest on
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So when you are loaning to God, if you
In
give
fact, with
out,
interest.
He will give you back. And imagine God giving you interest. It can never be the same thing as anything that the world will give to you. So I mean, that's
Hmm.
how I interpret it, and that's how it's been working for me. So um,
I
it's
love
just
that.
what it is.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I don't know if anybody, I have just one last question because I know you have to get off. I don't
No,
know
we're
if
fine.
I've seen one or two people's hands shoot up. If anybody has any question, you can please quickly unmute or drop it in the chat box. But my last question is, if you had to do this all over again, what would you do differently and why?
Nothing.
Essentially, one advice for your younger self then.
So if I was to do my business or walk this path again, I would not do anything differently. Like, I'm really happy with how things have turned out.
Mm.
But I'll say that to my younger self, I would say that, don't be too anxious, right? Don't be too anxious. Oh, will this work out? Will this not work out? It will eventually work out, right? Like, so my 20s, it was just like, we're just building, we're just building, we're just toiling, we're just toiling, we're just toiling. Where will this result come? When are we going to hammer? When are we going to be able to travel the world? When are we going to be able to do this, do that, And I'm in my husband does not admit that I'm in my mid-30s. So he's arguing with me that I'm in my late 30s now. But yeah, even I'm like, Uncle, leave me alone. I'm still in my mid-30s, please. So, but in my mid-30s now, I'm now enjoying the benefits and
The hard
reaping the hard work of what I was able to build in my 20s. And that's why I'm so passionate about the Grow with Running that I do, maximizing your 20s.
mm,
Because looking back, I really maximized my 20s, right? And I'm still seeing results. There are
mm,
results, to God's glory that, I have seen, and I'm just like, thank you, God. And also, patting myself on the back and saying, well done, girl, on the work that you put in. So to my younger self, I would just say, don't be anxious. You just do the work. Don't worry. The reward is in front. You will
mm.
get it. It's not
Ah,
only in heaven, no. It's also on
yeah,
earth here.
on Earth, we're getting it.
It's here.
Thank you
It's here. We are
so,
getting it as
so
well.
much. I want to be disciplined about the time because I know you're going on to something else. And so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
I thought you said you have like one or two questions. I can quickly take maybe one or two questions.
I do. Okay, so in your views, doing business in Nigeria has been a bit tough.
Yeah.
How does one navigate the environment in Nigeria with the many headwinds? And then secondly, what do you see? What should business people be mindful of as we go into the year 2020, 2026, especially if you're operating in a climate like Nigeria?
Hmm. Okay, so um, I mean, like doing business in Nigeria, like you can wake up this morning and they can ban the most crucial thing that you're doing, that you're using for your business, or
Mm,
one policy can just be passed and it can just literally kick you out of market. So I always say that um there's this word that I normally use. It has skipped my mind now, but literally, you know how they say, oh, what when you say waterproof when you have waterproof something, or like business proof or product proof, whatever it is that you're doing. So
mm,
if there was a time when Russia, Ukraine, they were fighting, and because of that, flour got,
very
the
expensive.
prices got, yeah, skyrocketed. Obviously, I'm like, you're thinking in your mind, you're thinking, what's it concern me with Russia and Ukraine that they are fighting? But it now concerns you because you are a lover of bread. The flour is now expensive. You have to buy bread like times three, times four. So at the end of the day, like all these things have like ripple effects, whether it's just Nigeria, whether it's like the world economy. But always just ask yourself, like, if another COVID happens today,
Mm,
will my business be affected? And if it's going to be affected, what are the things that I can put in place that will not eventually, kick me out 100%? It might affect you, it might, it can shake, but at least the foundation is standing and it can withstand whatever pressure. Because let's not lie and let's not pretend that, oh yes, I know some of us here, we are Christians, we are, we are religious, we believe that nothing will happen to our business, God is there, my business will always prosper. But from the days of even Joseph, when God told him there will be famine and there'll be years of plenty. So if you check economic cycles, there
mm,
has never been any time when for like 100 years straight everything
mm,
was
mm,
prosperity. There will always be ups and down. Ups
mm,
and there was
mm,
economic recession in 2020, 2006. It was nothing compared to what's happened in COVID.
mm.
I'm not a prophet of doom, in another less than 10 years, there will still be something that will shake us. So let's not be naive to this. Let's see, okay, what if anything wants to come, what's that thing that wants to come again? Yeah, as my business
Can it withstand it?
can it withstand it? If your business cannot withstand it, but yeah, that's the time where you say, okay, what's my second business? So that at least if the people that were during the COVID, people that were making the money that time were what they call it was something they used to call those
Essentials.
businesses essentials. Yes, essential businesses. At least supermarkets will open, food will sell, sanitizers. Too sure, I think that too sure became very popular at the time, right?
Absolutely.
So in the
Absolutely.
midst of it, people were still prospering. And for you, it might just be okay. I want to have a principle that every month, this is how much we set aside in investments. And that's what Joseph was doing. I was taking 20% every year in the year of plenty, such that when they were now farming, they had enough for their own country. And then the other people that were coming from outside of their own country, they could also sell. And at that time, when you are now selling, it can't be
You're
selling the
making
normal price that it was selling before. You will take advantage. And that's the thing about business. You are the one that has it. So you call your price, you name your price, but you cannot say, and they can call you wicked. I don't know if you remember when we had this election time when there was scarcity of notes, and then it was this POS people that were the kings and the queens of the
absolutely.
country. At that point, like you want to collect 5,000 naira, they can tell you it's 10,000. You have no choice. You have to bring it out, right? So that's when you start thinking about, okay, what kind of business would I do? I remember during COVID, because we had been investing, we had been saving, we had been very, very lean with our finances, because finance is one thing that can kick you out of business quickly. We were able to pay salaries. We did not owe anybody. We paid complete, not even 10%, 20% of it. We paid 100%. Like I was like, this period just to be enjoying yourself, because I know that once they leave this ban, work will start again, and then that's what happened. So really just being strategic, thinking about it. Remember I said earlier, we usually have like a 3-year strategic plan, and that's why we're planning, thinking about all these many things. You're also thinking about the economy as well. Okay, this policy has been passed. How does this affect my business? This policy that they are thinking about, not just say dollar is going down or dollar is going up, and that's all that you know. No, okay, in the Senate, what are the things that they are talking about? They said there was a document. So I'm in a network, and somebody sent a document right to that network where he had like industry analysis for each state. Right, these states, this is what they are focusing on right now. These are the things. This is there's a billion. Going to be invested in this area, in agriculture, in tech, like for all the 36 states. In fact, when I sent it to my younger brother, it was like, there are some things that it's only certain people that can have certain information, and it's just best that you are in those sort of like networks. And for me, I paid to be in that network, right? So it can even be as simple as that, where you pay for knowledge, you pay for information, just so that you're able to withstand these things, and just don't play on the sidelines, right? Some people, I admire Dangote. Some people might say, it might be a bit controversial, but I admire him on the things, some of the things that he does, right? You will see him when it's time for election, he does not choose side. If we choose APC, we support APC, we support PDP. One of them we shall enter. You understand? That's just by the wayside. I'm just saying. But I mean, it comes from a strategic place, and there's certain things that he does as well. That I'm just, when you're listening to him, I mean, like he's been talking a lot recently. I think Nigeria has shown Dangote Shege. He's now a podcaster. Like he's just like granting interviews left, right, center. But in those interviews, like if you have time, like sometimes my husband will just send it to me. We watch it together, and then we try to hear some of the things that he's saying. I think that he's not saying as well, because he has like so much. He has invested so much in research, right? Because he has to do certain research for him to do the thing that he's doing. So if Dangote is telling you, he's saying this and this and that, oh, I'm moving to these states because of this. My sister, my brother, maybe you two, you want to be looking into that. So go watch some of the interviews that he's been, granting of late, and speak some things, right, for your own company and say, okay, if this person is making this move, how is it affecting my own business as well? And may God's grace and wisdom continue
Guys,
to abide with us and guide us in Jesus' name.
amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. You've said so much, and we are grateful that you obliged. In fact, this last question is as if you took a long rope and you wrapped everything that one needed to know as a business leader. And I believe I picked up one or two things that I'm definitely going to do. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to send a message and get that report that is for the states. I'm going to use my opportunity to make sure that I read through that. Also,
No
listing
problem.
people who are successful and finding out how they're spotting opportunities, building resilience into your business. Don't spend everything. It's amazing when you have a business that can actually pay people 100% salary all through COVID. Obviously, that must have impacted on your staff retention. There's so much to unpack. I don't want to sound like I'm hashing everything. There's a
Yes,
lot.
ma'am.
And you said something at the beginning: to thyself be true, know yourself. Find your weaknesses, find someone who would complement those areas of weaknesses, and also make sure that at the end of the day, if you are starting a venture, build structure, build processes around it so that it can outlast you and the steam does not go on. There's so much you've said. Obviously, we would make this available to people so that they can go back and watch. I intend to do that myself. So thank you very much. I know you had to get off the call right now. We're grateful that you obliged us, despite the fact that your schedule is busy and you're even out of the country. Have a very good time where you're at, and I will
Thank you so
definitely
much.
reach out when you're back in the country. But to our
Thank
audience,
you.
we hold on briefly. We have one or two information we would like to share with you. But a big thank you. Everybody's been
Thank
doing
you.
their thumbs up and
Thank you so much. Thank you. So
their
grateful.
thank you to you. Have a safe trip back to the country, and God
Thank you so much. Thank
bless.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, as we before we wrap up, I want to quickly share one or two things. Like she said, be a part of a community. I'm going to share my screen quickly just to say one or two things. It would not take more than 5-10 minutes maximum, 5 minutes of our time. I just want to quickly share something about what we're trying to do. It's been 1 year of us having you in the Triad webinar series. And one of the reasons why we decided to have this webinar was because we were doing capacity building with the masterclass, but with the webinar, we felt that we could make this available to people who ordinarily may not have the time or the resources to come into our master classes. And we're happy that it's been a year, but it's been a year of virtual engagement. So we're having a physical event and we're giving you an opportunity to be there. It's not a paid event. It's coming up on the 24th of October. So please save the date. We would send you, my colleague will put a link on the chat group, and I would also make sure that you have the QR code. What have we been doing? We've been trying to help Nigerian businesses scale and become globally competitive. And what we've been doing over the last 1 year is bringing entrepreneurs, people who have been successful in building businesses in a climate like Nigeria, where people have their issues around how businesses do not survive or do not thrive as much as they should. And people have shared their success stories, they've shared their insights. We've just had another conversation where Dr. Molehin has shared some of the things. They're simple but very profound tips that she has shared. In our master classes, which we've had five master classes. We've brought industry leaders, and I'm just rolling through some of the pictures of things that we've been able to do. But we know that these are paid events, and sometimes people don't get the opportunity to be there. But we've now built what we called the Triad Africa Hub. It's an electronic platform that can allow you to go through all those sessions that we've had. We will be unveiling that as well on the 24th. It's a platform that you can actually have access to the learning materials, and you can also have someone guide you in some of the strategies that you're unfolding. So at that 24th, we'll be unfolding this. So if you would like to be a part of that physical event on the 24th, it's not a paid event, but we would be having some real sessions with a panel. And please scan the QR code or click on the link in the chat and please register. We will revert on your registration. It's a very exclusive event. We're not having more than 50 participants. So if you know that you really would like to be there, please register on time because the slots are limited. Thank you very much. I would take any questions we have. Otherwise, we will bring the session to a close. Any questions before we exit the conversation? Yes, please. Munira, your hand is up if you have any question, or you're just saying a thumbs up.
Sorry, I was just clapping.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate. Thank you very much. Any questions from anybody? Otherwise, we would say enjoy your Sat. Regina, you have your hand raised up. Do you have a question?
Okay, ma. Well done, ma.
Thank you.
My question is, how are we going to get the link?
Oh, okay. A colleague of mine should have dropped the link on the chat box. There's a link. Yes, if you go into the chat box, there's a link there. Please just click on it and quickly do your registration, or copy it and do it after this call. Otherwise, you can send us an email or a text message. I'm sure that you got an email from us. Any other question? Otherwise, we're ending today's session pretty early. We say thank you so much, and thank you to Dr. Morenike again for obliging, even though she was out of the country. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you very much, Madam J, and well done.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I had my hands up. I wanted to say thank you for this session, for putting it together, and for imparting knowledge all the while. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Olanike. We appreciate you, and thank you for your time as well. There are many voices these days, so when people do take our time to be a part of the session, we do not take it for granted. We're very grateful that people find these sessions as impactful as they found it. Thank you, everyone.